Employees of the Barbados Water Authority are on strike, and that action is set to go into a second day tomorrow. Over 500 workers commenced the industrial action at about 7 this morning at the BWA's offices in the Pine. And this afternoon, the BWU, led by its General Secretary, Sir Roy Trotman, met with the workers for just over 2 hours at the union's Solidarity House headquarters and vowed to continue the action. This after the BWU failed to receive correspondence from the BWA on the matter. Dale Ford reports.
The industrial action by dozens of BWA employees followed a meeting last night between management of the authority and officials of the Barbados Workers Union, where talks reportedly broke down. Sources say the two sides were unable to reach an agreement on a number of demands put forward by the BWU concerning increments, uniforms and concerns about working conditions. Yesterday was reportedly the deadline for some level of agreement to be reached. President of the BWA arm of the union, Carol Boyce, reassured consumers early this morning that they will be serviced with their water as usual, but he said employees were disappointed with the treatment from management.
We are in a dispute with the management there for the last 6 years, 6 months, 4 weeks, that there were a number of issues that they were supposed to get to the table with, and they had 2 deadlines. One is in relation to rehabilitation work in relation to the 3 lines main into St. Philip and Christchurch, where it will help create economic activity in the country, where a number of mains are supposed to be laid.
The industrial action escalated later in the day with several workers gathering at the Manor Lodge headquarters.
The departments that are affected is all the clerical division, all the field staff, which include plumbers, drivers, those linesmen, all that are out. Some operators, meter readers, all of at least 6 departments are out today in solidarity with this strike.
General Secretary of the BWU, Sir Roy Trotman, told workers their action was sanctioned by the BWU executive and that other divisions of the BWU were standing by in solidarity.
I believe that this is one where you have to be ready for the long haul. The Executive Council has undertaken to give you full solidarity support. Full solidarity support. That means that if we have to bring extra troops to defend and to protect and to support your interests, that will be done.
Dale Ford for CBC News.
Well, when contacted, corporate communications specialist at the BWA, Joyanne Haig, told CBC a statement will be made soon by management of the BWA on the matter. A sharp rise in dengue fever cases on the island has prompted health officials to launch a mosquito eradication week. 689 cases have been recorded thus far, with 676 confirmed, including 2 deaths. Data for 2012 revealed that 253 confirmed cases were reported for the same period, along with 1 death. Minister of Health John Boyce says the Environmental Health Department is taking a number of steps to combat dengue.
House-to-house inspection has increased, especially in areas with high mosquito prevalence. In addition, public education has been stepped up through the dissemination of source reduction messages using print and electronic media. We've also recently redeveloped a visitation card, which will be left at houses where occupants are not at home when the environmental health officer or assistants visit to inspect their premises.
Mr. Boyce identified low-lying swampy areas as areas of concern and called on owners of empty lots to play their part in keeping them clean.
Make sure that you get out there and get those lots cleaned so as to help us on the way of eradicating this mosquito. Obviously, your neighbors feel threatened by these lots that are with the overgrown bush. The incidence of mosquito breeding will be higher, and therefore we want to appeal again to Barbadians, as I said, to clear those undeveloped lots that are full of bush throughout our island.
Chief Environmental Health Officer Tyrone Applewhite is encouraging all householders and businesses to come on board with the Ministry of Health to assist in reducing dengue cases.
We are expecting that all householders in Barbados find the necessary time, just 15 to 20 minutes, to do a comprehensive inspection of their property to search and destroy any mosquito findings on their property. On Friday, we are expecting that all managers of all institutions in Barbados, including schools, hospitals, business places, and other workplaces, to conduct inspection of these premises.
Mosquito Eradication Week gets underway on Monday. Give us the same concessions as Sandals Resorts International. That's the cry tonight, coming from the Intimate Hotels Group, which is voicing its support for a similar recent call from the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association. Speaking during a media conference at the Island Inn today, Chairman of the group, Renee Coppins, says the group is happy to see a major brand like Sandals coming to Barbados and the benefits that it will bring to the island. But she says the type of concessions granted to Sandals could result in an imbalance in the system, causing some of their members to possibly have to close their doors.
We see in this most recent move the potential for continued marginalization and even extinction of our members, and we feel strongly that this does not redound to anyone's benefit. It is in this context that we are requesting that the concessions that have been extended to Sandals should also be extended to the small hotels.
Ms. Coppins says the small hotels in the group have been trying their best to adapt in the difficult economic circumstances, but she notes that they can only adjust so much as they try to maintain existing staff levels and meet operational costs. The Barbados Institute of Management and Productivity, BIMAP, though facing some challenges, will be moving to introduce new programs aimed at the overall development of the island. This was revealed to CBC News after BIMAP's 41st annual general meeting this morning. Executive Director Sandra Greenwich Franklin says the programs are designed to increase productivity. They include mobile applications and animation.
One of the main ones that we're looking at right now is in information technology, where we're looking to help persons start a new industry because we're having a collaboration with the BIDC, and animation is one of the main things that we're going to be looking at going forward.
Well, Chairman of BIMAP, Benson Straker, wants public servants and the private sector to use the Wilde Institution as a center of higher training.
By taking the initiative to increase their knowledge and pursue their academic goals, public servants will also gain the benefit from the Barbados Institute of Management and Productivity programs. At our annual general meeting this morning, I indicated I would try to seek an audience with the ministries of Industry, International Business, Commerce, and Business Development, the Ministry of Labor, Social Security, which is the ministry assigned with the responsibility of funding for BIMAP.
Barbados has recorded close to 800 reports of child abuse and neglect over a 12-month period, and that figure is believed to be a mere fraction of the true number of such cases on the island. The latest figures from the Child Care Board have been revealed by Social Care Minister Steve Blackett. He gave details during the launch of the Break the Silence, End Child Abuse campaign, launched yesterday in Barbados on Universal Children's Day.
During the period April 1, 2012 to March 31, 2013, the Child Care Board received 780 reports of alleged child abuse and neglect that impacted the lives of 1,087 children. Of these, 327 were cases of neglect which impacted on 548 children. It should be noted that these figures do not represent all of the children who have suffered abuse and neglect. Rather, it is thought to be the tip of the iceberg.
Minister Blackett says the campaign is a new beginning in addressing issues of child abuse here in Barbados.
The theme, Break the Silence, End Child Abuse, symbolizes our commitment to our children who represent the future of this nation. We are approaching the 47th anniversary of independence as a nation, and I believe that this is one of the more subtle and troubling issues of society which we must commit to addressing in a mature and responsible manner. No matter how you look at it, child abuse and the neglect is a serious scourge on society. It has remained subtle largely because most of its immediate victims are voiceless and unable to navigate the appropriate legal channels themselves.
The opposition Barbados Labour Party has welcomed a decision by the Minister of Finance to deliver a ministerial statement in Parliament early next month. It is expected then that the minister will reveal the progress made with government's economic programs. However, as that day draws near, Opposition leader Mia Mottley has submitted some 14 questions which she says are relevant that she wants answered by the minister. They relate to government's fiscal deficit, its ability to borrow, the recent downgrade by Standard & Poor's, and sandals. She wants to know if the downgrade came as a surprise and is calling for the MOU between government and sandals to be made public. Ms. Mottley wants the Minister of Finance to touch on the issue of the printing of money, which she deemed as reckless.
Will the Minister state how much money has been printed by the Central Bank via the issuance of Treasury bills and any other mechanism since the beginning of the financial year on the 1st of April 2013? And can the Minister confirm that a whopping $372.9 million in Treasury bills has been issued by the Central Bank this year, a sum that is virtually $300 million more than last year?
Ms. Mottley believes the budgetary initiatives that were announced were insufficient. The opposition leader wants government to do away with its quarterly reports to the nation and adopt monthly updates,
so that Barbadian businesses, Barbadian planners, Barbadian public policy people, people who deal with Barbados, can make judgments not based on the best or worst, but on the facts. Because sometimes people will assume that things are worse than they are if you don't update them. And if they are in fact worse than they are, then the corrective action to stop the bleeding becomes that much more urgent rather than down the line.
Well, a 15th question was posed, but to Prime Minister Frundle Stewart. Ms. Mottley wants to know if he still has confidence in the Minister of Finance and if he will remain silent. MCTV wishes to inform its subscribers that our engineers will be carrying out work on the communication tower at Edgecliff St. John tomorrow, Friday. As a result, our MCTV repeater located at the Edgecliff Tower will be switched off tomorrow from 7 until 10 a.m. Subscribers who receive their MCTV signal from that repeater will be affected. MCTV apologizes for the inconvenience caused.